everyone, Laura here from the Spiritual Safe House, and I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk to you about an experience that I had with a new crystal that I had that I've never really worked with before, this specific type of crystal, and that's desert rose selenite. So I've worked with selenite before, many of us have. It's an amazing crystal, and desert rose selenite has the properties of regular selenite, but it also has one specific very amazing property that that is just so pivotal, I think, right now. Hey everybody that's hopping on. It's so pivotal right now because we're in the Lion's Gate, and I'm not going to get too much into the nitty-gritty of exactly what all that means, because I want to talk about the crystal, but it's just it kind of just like hit me earlier, and I was like, hey, I should probably be talking about this. So selenite, for those of you that don't know, is an amazing crystal. I should have brought a piece of regular selenite out to show you guys, but it's an amazing crystal to help with clearing and charging. It's a great helper crystal because you can use it to charge your other crystals and to clear your other crystals. So you know, selenite a lot of times comes in like a longer piece, so I like to put my crystals on top, let them sit there overnight, and selenite is self-cleansing, so you don't have to worry about cleansing it by itself, which is also really cool. Another thing I like to do with selenite is to clear my own aura. A lot of times, like after I get out of the shower, and I just take it and, you know, right over my aura, and it just feels so nice. It's such a refreshing feeling. So selenite really connects with the crown chakra, okay? So it helps us to open up that spirituality, open up that crown, so we can connect to, you know, our higher self, higher dimensions, source, whatever you want to call it. And it's just a very opening crystal. And it really helps to just bring in that pure white light, which as light workers, you know, is what we're trying to exude in, you know, in our daily living, right? That's what we're trying to bring about, living through that light. And selenite is such a great crystal to help you to do that. So all around, it's absolutely fabulous crystal. So a more specific type of selenite is desert rose, and it's so beautiful too. And I'm not really sure why this is the first piece of this, and I've been collecting and working with and studying crystals for almost 10 years now, and it's one that I literally just brought this into my collection, but I'm going to show it to you here. It's so beautiful, and this is just a different type of selenite. I love this so much. So the crazy thing that happened, and you know, when I got this, I was at the crystal shop with some friends, and I just kept having this strong urge to get a piece of this, you know, and you wanna just follow that and listen to that when something's telling you about a crystal like that. So this is the piece that I got, and it's so amazing. Like when I think there are like different levels of connecting with crystals. Like sometimes we buy crystals just because we think that they're pretty, and that's why we have them. I'm not saying any of these are right or wrong, but I know, you know, even for myself, there are different reasons why you buy them. So sometimes we buy them because they're very pretty. Sometimes we buy them because we're seeking a certain color of crystal. Maybe we heard that this one has certain properties, so we're going to go out and buy that crystal for that. Maybe we just didn't know, and we just kind of wanted to try it out, or maybe we were really called to get a certain crystal, and that's kind of what happened with this one for me. And it was just so weird. So last night I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like settle in. It was right before I was about to go to bed, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna settle in. I'm gonna sit with this stone, because I didn't really give myself any time. Like I had it with me, but I didn't really give myself time to sit with it like I really wanted to. So I did that last night before I went to bed, and I fell asleep with it in my hand. And the one cool thing about desert rose is that they say that they have guardian spirits inside each of them, and each of them are different. So that was the approach that I was taking to try to connect with the crystal. So that was my intent during this little meditation. I ended up falling asleep with the stone, and probably about, I would say like 2 or 3 hours later, I think I had like kind of like woken up or something, like, you know, it was like in a half sleep, half awake state, and I kind of like moved it, but it was still in my bed, you know, so it was like kind of next to my pillow. And probably like 2 or 3 hours later, I woke up, and it was the most bizarre sensation that I was having throughout my entire body. Like, it was just sensation through my whole body, like almost like a quivering, like, you know, but it was completely physical. It wasn't like I woke up and I was like, you know, I couldn't really even say that I could pinpoint an emotion that I was feeling at the time. It was just all physical. Like, why am I feeling this way? Like almost like a buzzing throughout my entire body. And immediately I knew it was because I fell asleep, or at least I think it was because I fell asleep with this crystal, and it was in my bed. And the only other time that has happened to me before is when the same thing, you know, I was using a crystal before I fell asleep with it in my hand, and the same thing, but it was more in my hand area because I actually had the crystal still in my hand when I fell asleep, and I guess it stayed there for so long, and when I woke up, my hand actually hurt, like it was like painful, and that crystal was my Lemurian quartz. And that's actually the first crystal that I ever got, was my Lemurian. It's a little, probably about this big, but that crystal, I've always said, was like one that I had the most connection to. It was just so overwhelming, like emotionally and physically, and it just reminded me immediately of that. And when I woke up, that's the first thing that I thought of. And it's like the same thing is happening with this desert rose. So I know that this crystal is very pivotal in my life right now, and that I need to use it to its fullest, and not just have it like kind of hanging around my room. Like, I actually need to be using it because it's calling me, you know, and it was unbelievable. So I know how powerful this is, and that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you just have these amazing connections with crystals, because like there are certain crystals that I can feel immediately, that I like, just their energy is so overwhelming to me, and I can barely even kind of use them for a very long time, especially the higher vibration stones. Like moldavite, absolutely, I can only work with moldavite for about like 20 minutes. Petalite, danburite, I always feel them very, very strongly. There are some others as well, but this specific reaction that I had was the same as with my Lemurian. I know how powerful that is. So just in general, I just got like chills all over. It's so powerful. So if you don't have a piece of this, and this piece was only $250, so it's very cheap to obtain. So the thing about it is, so when I say all that about selenite, and how it's great for the crown and all that, this is great for those things as well. But the one thing that really stuck out to me, and maybe this is, I'm kind of all scattered with this, but the one thing that I thought was really, really pivotal that I needed to pay attention to regarding the desert rose was that it really helps you to be mindful of the belief systems, hello guys, the belief systems that you're telling yourself, okay? So and whether you think that they're correct, right? Because once we tell ourselves something for so long, we start to actually believe that it's true, and it's, you know, some things could not be true, for, you know, a lot of different examples. One being, you know, that you're like unworthy. You could tell yourself that for so long that you actually start to believe it. But the desert rose helps you to look at the things that you tell yourself, okay? It helps you to look at what you believe in, what your standards are, how you talk to yourself, the things that you think are right or true in your life, and it really helps you to look at them very specifically and then release what is not serving you. And maybe one of the reasons why that grabbed out to me so much is because I think the same thing about smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is great for letting go. It's a fabulous thing to use even during like the new moon when you're starting like new beginnings, releasing things, letting things go that aren't serving you. And I've always had a really strong connection to smoky as well. So maybe that's why I'm getting this connection. But when I mentioned too about the Lion's Gate, so the Lion's Gate right now it's from August 8th through the 12th, and it happens every year, and it's in general, it's when certain things are lining up in the cosmos and certain things are happening for this certain period of time. And this is a really amazing time for it's an amazing time for humanity, because when the cosmos are up there doing their thing right now, it's bringing about higher consciousness. It's bringing about a time when we can tap into that higher consciousness and we can move closer to living in that 5D kind of world. Okay, so, and what is that? So living in this 3D world is, living through kind of your ego and letting your emotions get the best of you, thinking kind of like, this is the only way to live, believing in things like you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time, instead of thinking, that everything happens for a reason. What can I learn from this? That kind of mentality. 4D meaning that you are open to looking at things from a different perspective, and 5D meaning that you're consistently living in love and compassion, and just understanding, taking a very non-judgmental view of things. So that's kind of what the Lion's Gate right now is doing. It's a very important time to be focusing on those things and to focus on living through love, right? And like I said, that's, as light workers, that's what we're trying to do. Live as the light, live through love and being non-judgmental, and that goes towards yourself as well. So I think that the Desert Rose, just being that it helps you to take a look and kind of take a personal inventory of how you're thinking about things and what you need to let go of. It's a great time to use this stone to do that self-evaluation, especially during the Lion's Gate, because as the cosmos are helping us to move more towards the light and move more towards that higher dimension and 5D living, you can shed all of that stuff that isn't serving you, right? So it's kind of like a double whammy during this time, and tomorrow we're going to be right in the middle of the Lion's Gate. So working on these things during these next couple of days can be really beneficial, because the universe is on your side anyway, but the cosmos are really giving you that extra boost of energy to get into that consistent living as a light worker. Okay, so that's why I just wanted to get on and, I was just thinking about that and just say how amazing this stone is to be able to do both of those things at one time. Be aware that the cosmos are helping you right now and doing things on purpose, like really working with crystals to be able to shed all of that stuff that just is not serving you and to replace it. And that's what the cosmos can help you to do, because you have to remember, when we shed things, we have to replace them with something, because if we don't, they're more likely to just come back. So when we shed old belief systems that aren't serving us anymore, negative things that we think about ourselves or the world or about other people, certain emotions that we want to get rid of, relationships that we want to mend, all kinds of things. When we put that into, action, it will really just come together, because we're doing this on purpose, right? You're doing this on purpose, and the cosmos are just lifting you up to really be able to have that consistency in it. And you know, like I said, you have to replace it with something. When we're shedding these things that aren't serving us anymore, if you don't replace it with something, it's likely that they could sneak back in, right? So instead of, you know, if you just say, okay, I'm going to release the fact that I'm not worthy, right? I'm going to release that. But if you don't replace it with I love myself, then there's going to be this empty space right there, right? There's going to be this empty space, and the unworthiness could sneak back in, because that's your comfort zone. It's what you're used to. You know, if you're used to feeling unworthy, it'll be easy for that to sneak back in and for your subconscious to just grab a hold of it again, right? But if you're making that purposeful decision to say, no, I love myself, right? I'm letting go of this because it's not serving me. I know the cosmos are on my side, and I have these things, I have these tools like crystals, to be able to help me through that. And this can be a reminder, especially because its properties can really help you to evaluate those things about yourself and to really be honest with yourself about what's not serving you. And letting go of that stuff can be really hard, right? Of course, we don't want to feel unworthy, right? But if it's that uncomfortable comfort zone that we're so used to, it's hard to let that go, right? It can be hard to let that go, and that's for anybody. But things like this, you know, so really just imagining like sitting with the desert rose and saying, okay, I need to look at some things. What do I believe right now, right? What do I believe right now? And when you look at that, what do you want to let go of, right? And then allow this stone to help you to open up that crown chakra and connect with your higher self and say, you know, I don't need to believe these negative things about myself. This isn't true. Okay, just because I believed it for so long doesn't mean that it's true, and doesn't mean that I need to continue with it. Okay, so, oh, hi. Hi. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. So just keep that in mind, okay, that you have all these tools at your fingertips that you can use. And I think that this stone in particular, I'll show you this again, is such an amazing one to use right now, just for that self-evaluation, being honest, letting go of what you don't want in your life anymore, and just really allowing yourself to bring in that positivity and bring in what you do want to talk about, right? Bring in that light, especially during this time of the Lion's Gate, when this is what we're being pushed to do, right? This is a change in humanity. This is a change in energy from a cosmic level. It's absolutely amazing, okay? So, all right, guys, I'm going to hop off now. I just wanted to quickly get on and talk about this a little bit. I have an online crystal class that I'm taking, so I have to get ready for that. Okay, guys. So I want to thank you so much for joining me for this. Please let me know if you've worked with Desert Rose before and how you've reacted to it, and what you're going to be doing during the Lion's Gate to kind of move yourself towards being more of a light worker, right? And what does that mean? It just means that you're living through love. That's it. That's what it means. Okay? We try to sometimes put this big thing around it, you know, but that's really what it is. You know, are you loving yourself? Are you loving the people in your life? Are you loving your life? Are you being kind to yourself, to the world, to other people? Like, is that what you're doing? Okay? That's really just what it means. Being the light all around, to yourself, to other people. And if something comes up that you disagree with, or something comes up that you don't like, you don't have to react, okay? And that's part of being a light worker too. How are you going to react to things? You know, you don't have to agree with everything, but we also don't have to take it to a negative level, right? We can just forget about things. We can just, you know, send your love to it, okay? Whatever, as long as you're not hurting, as long as people aren't hurting one another, I really don't care what people think or believe, whatever it is. That's none of my business. And remember too, what other people think of you is none of your business either. That's not my quote. I forget who said that, but I always remember it because I absolutely love it. So, all right, guys. Once again, Desert Rose, so amazing. Definitely during this time of the Lion's Gate. Okay, let me know. Let me know about this. Let me know about the crystals, and what's going on with your energy right now. Okay, guys? All right, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.